Good evening. I hate to interrupt all the conversations, but we want to get the official part of the ceremony done as quickly as possible so that we can get outside and you can enjoy your evening and not listen to me. So welcome to the General Assembly. I'm Weston, Stacey. I'm the Executive Director. And what we have on the agenda tonight is I'm going to give you a sort of a brief overview of what's happened in the past year. And then I'm going to introduce the new Board of Directors, and then you're going to hear a word from the President. And then we're going to go outside, or you can visit the other rooms of this beautiful place. And we're going to give you a preview of next year's spring party, which we will be doing in full sometime in April of next year. Before I begin, I would like to thank Sealy for providing the location tonight. I would like to thank IBM for being a sponsor, and I would like to thank Coca-Cola, Plzeňský Prazdroj, and Brown Forman for providing soft drinks, wine, and beer. I got that in the wrong order. Beer from Plzeňský Prazdroj and wine from Brown Forman. Although maybe Plzeňský Prazdroj is going to come out with a wine line. So I thank everyone for being here tonight. There's a lot of you. I recognize that it's a bit tight and that some people have had to sit in the other room, but I view that as a good sign. It's better to have too many than too few. So I think it's a good indication of how well we've done this year. You know, whenever I'm talking to my colleagues from outside of the country about the AmCham or to a new investor, after they ask what the AmCham does, and we say, well, we lobby with the government, they always ask, so how effective are you? And I think that in the past year we can all be proud that you can find out how effective we've been by looking at the newspaper almost every day. I think some of you have been watching what's been going on in Saska with some form of nervousness, but the fact that Saska is undergoing a bankruptcy law and undergoing reorganization in bankruptcy is the result of the fact that the AmCham a few years ago lobbied the government to write a new bankruptcy law where the creditors would have more ability to deal with debtors such as Saska and to enter them into a reorganization process. So no matter what the result of the Saska situation, I think it's good news for the AmCham that we were able to act early and foresee that these sort of situations would occur and to write a bankruptcy law that is dealing with it so far effectively. You also might have noticed in the newspaper that the current government has decided that it would tie the confidence votes on its continued existence to the new Public Procurement Act. And I think all of you know that last March, the AmCham initiated a process called the Platform for Public Procurement and put Daniel Weinhold in a very difficult position of having to do two jobs at once, his normal job and then the job of rewriting the public procurement law. And we're almost midway through that process now, and hopefully by the end of the year we will have a new Public Procurement Act. No guarantee that we'll have a government. Sorry, so much we can do. And then last week you'll notice that a Vienna Institute announced that the Czech Republic had received the most foreign direct investment per capita since 1989 of any of the former Soviet Union Central European countries. And that is largely due to investment incentives. And investment incentives were something that members of AmCham advocated very early and worked with Martin Yan to create a package that would attract investments in a way that was very transparent. So I think that AmCham members can take pride in that as well. And then finally, you might have noticed that the Ministry of Industry and Trade is planning to introduce a new competitiveness strategy. 2 years ago, the AmCham put forth its first competitiveness report, and the result is that now the Ministry of Industry is now putting together a strategy. So I think we could say that we're part of an organization that's been able to anticipate very well what will be needed to grow the economy and argue successfully with the government and other business partners on what the necessary changes would be for economic policy. And we're able to do that because we have a lot of talent in industry among the people, energy among the people in the room, And we have a rare collection of people here that can both lead and work together. And that's our aim. We want to build a strong community that's focused on achieving whatever it is that's needed to be done next. Whether that's the next business transaction, whether that's the next new way of running an organization, or a new needed economic policy. And I think that together we've been able to make a much bigger contribution as the sum of our parts than we would be able to make individually. And tonight I want to just go over the 4 basic services that we do and recognize the staff members who are hiding there in the back for their contributions. The first thing that we do, obviously, is networking, and that's the most important thing. It influences everything else we do. And we do that in 3 areas. The first is, and it's the backbone, is through small meetings of general managers that we get together for breakfast, where we have very short conversations, or for dinners or wine evenings, which we have longer conversations that tend to get a little bit more creative. And Renata, are you here? Can you come in? Renata Peltzeltova is responsible for these activities. So if you want to get involved in either the breakfast or the dinner, please get in touch with Renata. The second type of networking event we do is representational. The General Assembly is one example of that. The Thanksgiving Ball is probably the biggest example of that. And that is handled by Yitka Fiolova. Yitka? She's downstairs. She got away before I could get to her. And then the third type of networking we do is the Czech Marketplace, which is our online service. And I think, Roman, you told me that the number of members that are using our online promotion has grown by 20% this year. So this is, I think, a very interesting new way for you to promote your products and services, not only among the members, but throughout the Czech Republic. And we're now working to cooperate with other AmChams in the region so that we can spread it out. Roman, you want to stand up so people see you? Yeah. Another area that we work on is best office, and this is something that we're going to be introducing in full in September. Currently, we have a task force that work in the area of marketing, IT, human resources, finance, and real estate. And Lucia and Renata are responsible for those 2 working groups. Lucia, you want to say hello to everyone? And so if you're interested in those areas, what those working groups are responsible for are exchanging best practices in those areas, either through events or through our publication. And we're going to have a publication that's a big publication that's printed this September. And then we're also going to revamp the AmCham website to focus more on best practices in the office. The third area is the Leadership Council, which is headed by Jiří Pavlicek. And we do 2 things there. The first is Truth and Trust. This is a series of events where we're talking about the role of truth and trust within the business community, between the business community and politicians, and then between the business community and the rest of society. And we've had a couple of very interesting dialogues with politicians about what role truth and trust plays in politics, and apparently not much. But we're working on it. And Lucia is also responsible for that, so you don't have to say hello again. And then the other area of the Leadership Council is our corporate social responsibility programs. Every year at the Thanksgiving Ball, we have been doing a One World, Many Voices project, which is meant to promote language training in elementary schools. In the past, we've been buying language laboratories, but now the schools mostly have them, so we're going to be switching probably to teacher training in the future. And we also want to expand the social responsibility activities to include working with companies, trying to tie companies' CSR activities together so that in conjunction they can have a bigger effect on the community. And then the final thing that we do, obviously, is the advocacy. We do that primarily now through the Council on Czech Competitiveness. And the idea there is that we try to work with changing alliances of business associations and political parties and government ministries to achieve an economic policy that would put the Czech Republic first in Europe in terms of competitiveness. A couple of examples of that this year have been the platform for public procurement reform. We've also been working with universities and the companies to promote applied research through our best cooperation of the year. And then the thing that we just finished doing 2 weeks ago was that the Prague City Council approved a marketing plan for promoting Prague in foreign markets, and we've gotten them to agree to cooperate with the Prague Airport and other associations that are spending a lot of money in promotion so that we get more money spent in a more targeted way. And all of that is handled by Katarina Bendikova. Is Katarina back there, or did she run away? There she is. So Katarina is responsible for that. So if you would join me in giving all of the AmCham staff a hand, because I think they've done a tremendous job.